Alex stared at the empty seat across from them in the little cafe. Every morning, they had shared coffee and stories with Mara before she left for the Mars research station. Now, the chair sat cold and unused. Alex felt a hollow ache in their chest each time they walked in. It was as if a piece of themselves had been carried away on Mara's transport shuttle, leaving behind only memories and missed chances. They glanced at the door every few seconds, hoping she might walk in and laugh at their favorite joke. But deep down, Alex knew Mara was thousands of miles away, working under red skies they could only imagine. At home, Alex's apartment echoed. With silence, books they had read together still lay open on the coffee table. A half-finished painting Mara's favorite view of Earth's blue oceans leaned against the bedroom wall. Alex touched the bright sky in the painting and felt tears fill their eyes. Every brushstroke seemed to whisper of days when Mara had called Alex inspirational and blamed them for choosing impossible dreams. Now Alex's dreams felt impossible without Mara's steady voice guiding them through each new idea. Alex tried sending messages at first. He typed long letters and hit send with trembling fingers. Each time, the coffee cup beside the hollow keyboard grew cold before Mara's name finally appeared in the inbox. Even the quick "Hey, how are you?" notes went unanswered. Sometimes Alex waited hours, wondering if the station's ComNet was down. Other times they wondered if Mara had simply forgotten to reply. The silence felt like a weight pressing on Alex's shoulders, making it hard to breathe or think clearly. One evening, Alex wandered down to the community workshop on the second floor. The place hummed with machines and overflowing tool racks. Sofas and tables were crowded with inventors and tinkerers, all trying to solve problems that seemed bigger than themselves. Alex picked up a small piece of circuitry and examined it. Their fingers itched to build something that could reach across the void separating them from Mara. They remembered how Mara loved puzzles and machines. Maybe they thought a new kind of message device could show Mara how much Alex cared and how much they believed in their bond. Alex sketched plans on a clean sheet of paper. They imagined a handheld projector that could link directly into Mara's station network. It would beam a hologram of Alex's face and voice as if they were standing side by side again. They gathered wires, microchips, and even little mirrors to help focus the light. Every time a part did not fit, Alex took a breath, smiled, and tried again. They remembered Mara's favorite saying, "Failure is just a step toward success." That phrase burned bright in Alex's heart as they soldered and connected circuits long into the night. By dawn, the device was ready. Alex held it carefully, feeling its warmth and potential in their hands. They carried it upstairs to the rooftop garden, where the sky spread wide above the city. Alex pointed the device toward the horizon and tapped. A final command. The machine whirred, spun its little mirror, and sent a clear signal into space. Then Alex spoke softly. "Mara, it's me. I miss you every day. I built this to tell you I'm still here, still believing in us." Their voice echoed off the glass towers, mingling with the morning breeze. Alex waited, fingers tight around the device. They watched the sun rise, painting the clouds in gold. Minutes ticked by, each one filled with both hope and fear. Finally, a reply came through the projector's tiny speaker. A familiar laugh, softer than Alex remembered, flicker of light on the lens, and then Mara's face appeared, her expression startled but smiling. "Alex, is that really you?" she whispered, eyes bright. Alex nodded, even though Mara could not see the motion. Tears of joy and relief glimmered on Alex's cheeks. In that moment, distance did not matter. Two friends, two dreamers spoke. Across the stars, Alex felt their hearts swell with hope and pride. They had used human spirit and ingenuity to bridge an impossible gap. And as they talked, sharing jokes and plans for the future, Alex knew that no matter how far away someone might go, hope and action could always bring them closer again. Alex woke before dawn again, the sky still dark when they slipped out onto the balcony. The city lights below glittered like distant stars, and Alex thought of Mara looking out at red horizons on Mars. Their chests tightened with longing. Even after the hologram call, the empty chair in the cafe still felt too wide. Alex missed the warmth of shared mornings, They paced hands in pockets, searching for hope in the silent air. Then they remembered an old Earth custom Mara once loved, sending small gifts that carried meaning. Maybe a thoughtful gift could bridge the space between them. Back inside, Alex gathered materials from the workshop. They found thin sheets of clear polymer and special inks that glowed under certain lights. Alex planned to make a simple, flat token like a bookmark that Mara could keep at her station desk. The design had to be personal. It needed a memory they both shared. Alex sketched a scene of two friends under a cherry tree in full bloom, laughing as petals drifted down. Underneath they wrote, "No matter where we are, we grow together." The words felt honest and full of promise. For days, Alex carefully printed and cut each layer of the polymer, aligning the glowing ink so cherry blossoms shone softly in the dark. Each blossom held a tiny symbol, a spark for creativity, a gear for invention, and a star for hope. Lex worked slowly, remembering how Mara had taught them to be patient with new ideas. When the token was done, it felt light in their hand, but somehow powerful, as if it carried their spirit across space. Next, Alex packed the token in a small envelope and taped it to an interplanetary drone service label. Each night they tracked the drone's path in a Loris feed, Earth Station Transfer Hub, then the long bound for Mars. Alex checked the feed until the drone vanished beyond the moon. They imagined Mara opening it under the harsh station lights and feeling a soft glow in her palm. That thought eased Alex's heart a bit. A week later, Alex sat at the cafe again, cup in hand, waiting for Mara's reply. They watched the door and tapped their foot. Then their holocom chimed. A message from Mara. "Thank you for the gift. It's beautiful. Keep it beside my bed." Alex exhaled. The words were simple, but they felt like sunshine breaking through clouds. Mara added a drawing. Two figures under that same cherry tree, one drawn in red lines of Mars, the other in blue lines of Earth. Alex smiled so wide they almost laughed out loud. Encouraged, Alex wrote back. They suggested a new routine. Every Friday evening, they would record a short video of Earth's sky sunsets, storms, migrating birds, and send it to Mara. In exchange, Mara would send weekly clips of Mars's pink dawns or dust storms swirling across the plain. Alex believed sharing these small moments would keep their bond alive. They pressed send with a smile, feeling hopeful that these shared windows into each other's worlds could bring them closer than distance ever could. That Friday, Alex recorded under soft street lamps as rain began to fall. They spoke into the camera. "Here is Earth tonight. I wish you could see these clouds. I'll wait for yours later." When Mara's clip came through, Alex watched Mars's quiet horizon bathed in pale light. They felt a thrill of joy realizing that, though apart, they still looked up at skies and thought of each other. Alex wiped a tear but smiled, filled with pride that human hope and creativity had built this living bridge. In the days that followed, Alex felt lighter. The cafe chair still waited, but it no longer haunted them. Every video, every message, and every token reminded Alex that distance was only a test of spirit. They learned that hope was something you could craft, send, and receive, just like any invention. And as Alex prepared the next Earth clip under a violet sunrise, they knew that no matter how far Mara had moved away, their bond was stronger than space itself, and that in the end, human hearts could always find a way to reach one another. Alex stepped into the town square just as the sun crowned the horizon. The festival lights had been packed away for days, but the benches where he and Mara once sat stayed empty and still. He passed the old fountain, remembering how they had tossed coins for good luck and whispered dreams into its flowing water. Now the fountain's clear currents seemed to mock him with their ease of motion. Alex felt the same pull in his chest he felt whenever he thought of Mara's laughter. She had moved to the lunar research colony, and even though he had built video bridges and sent glowing tokens, the distance still felt too wide. That night, Alex found himself unable to sleep. He sat at his workbench and stared at the empty board where he had designed his last device. Tools lay scattered around him like silent spectators. He picked up a small gear, turned it in his hand, and closed his eyes. Then an idea struck him. What if he built a message tree in the square? One that connected to Mara's station? People here could write notes of hope and hang them for others to read. And maybe, just maybe, those notes could travel to Mara too. Alex drew plans on fresh paper. The message tree would stand under the old fountain's shadow, round its trunk. Steel branches would curl like tendrils. At each branch tip, a small digital display would show Earth's messages. On the other side, live feed camera would capture Mara's station messages and project them onto a simple screen beneath the branches. He sketched details: solar panels hidden in leaf-shaped panels, battery units in the base, and a secure uplink to the lunar net. His heart quickened as he drew the final line. This creation would be a living bridge between worlds. Over the next days, Alex worked tirelessly. He sought permission from the town council, explaining his plan in plain words and simple drawings. At first, officials worried about cost and maintenance. Then Alex showed them his sketches and spoke passionately about hope and unity. He reminded them that humans could reach across the void with ideas and spirit. The council softened and granted a small grant. Local businesses donated materials, an electronics shop offered wiring. A woodworker crafted the base, and a cafe provided coffee for the late nights. On installation day, the square buzzed with curiosity. Neighbors brought small notebooks and colorful markers. Alex stood by the half-assembled tree, greeting each person with a warm smile. A child hung a drawing of two friends holding hands. Under stars, a baker wrote a wish that her pies could taste like home for people born beyond Earth. Alex took each note, scanned it into the system, and then clipped it to a branch by twisting a small ring. Each hung message glowed softly in the growing dusk. When the final panel snapped into place, Alex pressed the activation button. Solar panels caught the last rays of the sun and powered the system. One by one, screens flickered on. On the front-facing, side messages from the lunar station began to scroll. Alex's breath caught when he saw the first. "Thank you, Earth friends, for making us feel close." The crowd gasped and cheered. Alex felt tears in his eyes. He had built a machine, but more than that, he had built a channel for human hearts to speak. Later that evening, Alex pinned his own note to the tree. "Mara, I miss you in every sunrise. Here is our town's heart reaching for yours. Lex." He pressed the uplink button and watched as his words appeared on the station's screen. "Kilometers away?" Then he stood back and watched locals gather around, reading each lantern of text, their faces lit by the glow of human kindness. The next morning, Alex arrived to find fresh notes already hanging. A message from Mara glittered at one of the digital tips. "Your tree blooms brighter than any lunar garden. Feel you here." He touched the screen gently, as if it were her hand. Alex smiled widely, warmth spreading through him. The tree stood tall in the square, a testament to human hope and invention. He realized that distance was just a challenge to be solved, another frontier for ingenuity and heart. As Alex walked away, he glanced back at the tree's silent branches, full of stories and dreams. He knew he and Mara were no longer separated by silent nights or empty chairs. They were connected through every message, every glowing blossom of hope. And as long as humans kept dreaming and building, no distance would ever be too vast to close. Alex pressed his palm against the cool glass of the holoscreen, watching the soft glow of Mara's face as she waved from the lunar station. The image wavered for a moment, clouded by a weak link in the CumNet, then sharpened again. Alex's heart pounded. It felt good to see her, but also strange. It built bridges of light and steel to reach her. But this small rectangle still felt like a barrier. The distance between them was no longer measured in miles, but in walls of glass and static. Alex took a breath, recalling all he had learned about human spirit. Every wall could be torn down, every silence filled with sound. That afternoon, Alex walked through the old botanical garden on Earth, where glass domes held plants from every corner of the solar system. The air smelled of damp earth and distant blossoms. He remembered how he and Mara used to wander here, naming each flower and dreaming of planting seeds on Mars together. Now their dreams bloomed in separate worlds. Alex paused by a cluster of pale blue orchids. He knelt and whispered, "I wish you could smell this." Then he had an idea. What if he sent living plants to Mara? The scent might carry his thoughts more truly than words ever could. Back in his workshop, Alex sketched a simple, robust planter designed for lunar gravity and controlled atmosphere. It needed to be small enough for shipping, yet sturdy enough for the harsh station environment. He chose a hardy orchid species that could thrive in low pressure with extra warmth and light. He built a sealed chamber with transparent panels so Mara could watch the roots grow. Then he integrated a tiny sensor that would send back data on moisture and temperature. This way, Alex could care for the plant remotely, tending it from Earth as if he were there by Mara's side. For days he worked by the glow of his bench lamp, wiring sensors and testing seals. He added a small speaker hidden among the roots, so his voice could play softly whenever the plant sensed Mara's presence nearby. He imagined Mara's surprise when she found a little orchid humming with his voice in the quiet of the station corridor. He programmed the device to play his message, "Every day you stand among the stars. Remember you grow hope, right here on Earth." The words were simple, but he hoped they would touch her heart like a real gift of light. When the planter was ready, Alex arranged for it to ship on the next supply convoy, bound for the moon. He watched the liftoff cam feed, feeling the familiar ache of hope and worry. He imagined the planter's journey through airlocks and corridors until it reached Mara. Then at last the feed went dark, and Alex returned to his apartment, pacing with restless energy. Nights and days blurred as he waited, checking the supply tracking and re-watching the launch again and again. Every hour without news felt like a small eternity. Finally, an alert pinged on his HOLO-com. A message from Mara. "I received something today. Come to the station feed." Alex tapped the link. The holoscreen filled with the lunar greenhouse, where sleek metal tables held rows of hydroponic beds. Among them, Alex saw his planter, a clear box with a glowing orchid inside. He watched as Mara approached, her eyes widening. She brushed her hand against the glass and smiled. Then the orchid started to hum his message, "Every day you stand among the stars." Alex's voice echoed softly in the dome. Mara closed her eyes, letting his words wash over her. Alex felt tears in his own eyes, across millions of kilometers. They had shared a living memory. Mara touched the planter as if touching Alex's hand. She spoke into her "Come." "Thank you, Alex. This means more than words." Alex rubbed his chest, feeling its warmth spread through him. He realized that human hope could survive any distance. It could flower in empty air and hum in silent halls. It could turn seeds into voices and bridges of data into moments of connection. That evening, Alex returned to the botanical garden where he and Mara had first dreamed together. He planted a small marker by the orchids, carving their names and the date on a metal plaque. As he left, he looked back at the gentle sway of petals under the dome lights. He felt lighter than he had in weeks. The distance between Earth and the moon still stretched wide, but Alex knew they were linked in deeper ways. Each gift, each message, each act of invention was a strand of hope that pulled them closer. Alex walked home under the stars, smiling. To himself, he whispered into the night air, "We grow together, no matter where we stand." And somewhere beyond the sky, Mara heard him too. Alex woke to the soft chime of his hollow alarm and remembered today was the annual Earth-Mars Culture Day. Last year, he and Mara had celebrated with music under the giant dome at the Science Museum. This year, she would be on the far side of the moon when Mars time rolled around, and Alex felt that familiar tug of distance. He stared at the empty spot on his desk where her old concert ticket stub lay and let out a slow sigh. He wanted to feel close to her again, but how? Over breakfast, Alex doodled on a napkin, two silhouettes, Earth and Mars, reaching for each other across a starry gap. Now then a spark of an idea lit his mind. What if he could share live music with Mara? Not just a recording, but a real concert broadcast from Earth to her station. He imagined her surprise as a human band played under Mars's pink sky through her station speakers. The thought made his chest tighten in a hopeful way. At the community center's workshop, Alex borrowed a portable transmitter and speaker array. He designed a simple stage platform that could hold a small band. He reached out to friends who played instruments: Simo on violin, Tariq on drums, and Lena on keyboard. When he pitched the idea, they all cheered. Emma said, "I can't wait to play under Martian stars." Their excitement warmed Alex's heart. Together, they formed a plan to rehearse every evening until Culture Day. Rehearsals began in Alex's garage. Rusty tools and paint cans lined the walls, but music filled the space each night. Alex watched as his friends laughed when a note went wrong and cheered when a melody soared perfectly. He recorded each practice with the transmitter, adjusting signals and testing clarity. Late one night, he tried a final broadcast test aimed at the lunar station's antenna. He imagined Mara leaning close to hear the violin's sweet cry. The test succeeded, clear and strong. On Culture Day morning, Alex set up the stage in the Science Museum's open plaza. Parents, students, and curious visitors gathered holding Earth flags and hoping to feel a spark of unity with space. Alex's hand shook as he flipped levers and watched the signal strength. The clock ticked down. At the lunar station, Mara had organized her own watch party in the rec room. She invited fellow scientists to hear Earth's gift. Alex imagined her smile as she welcomed her colleagues, and the music began. Emma's violin sang of blue oceans and green forests. Tariq's drums pounded like human hearts united. Lena's keyboard painted gentle clouds across the melody. Alex stood under bright lights, eyes closed, feeling every note. In his mind, he saw Mara in her lunar module, swaying to the tune. He whispered, "This one's for you, Mara." The crowd on Earth cheered. At the station, his holofeed showed people tapping their feet, proof that music could bridge worlds. After the song ended, Alex cued a special message. A hologram of him appeared on stage. "Mara, I miss you every day. Thank you for believing in our dreams." He hit send, and the hologram flickered at the lunar station. Mara's eyes widened, and she mouthed the words, "Thank you, Alex." Back on Earth, Alex felt a warmth spread through him, stronger than any sunrise. He realized that music and human heartbeats could travel farther than any rocket. Later, Alex sat on the museum steps as the crowd dispersed. He checked his alodo-com and saw a message from Mara. "Your concert made me feel at home. Let's write a song together next time." Alex's chest tightened with joy. Typed back, "Yes, your vocals paired with our strings. Can't wait." He pressed send and looked up at the sky. The moon glowed faintly above, and he felt Mara's presence in every star. That night, Alex went home and found his garage friends waiting. They had brought pizza and candles. Together, they celebrated a successful broadcast. Alex smiled as he cut a slice and shared stories of the lunar listeners' cheers. He realized that hope was not a passive feeling but an action building. Bands, sending signals, sharing dreams. His human spirit had reached across space again. As he finally climbed into bed, Alex placed Mara's ticket stub on his pillow. He closed his eyes and whispered, "No matter how far you go, we find our song." And somewhere under Mars's red sky, Mara whispered back. Their music had sown a thread of hope between worlds, proving that human ingenuity and heart could always find a way to reconnect. The rain tapped gently on Alex's window as he stared at the soft glow of his desk lamp. He hadn't heard from Mara in over a week. No messages. No voice clips. Just silence. Every time the holocom blinked, Alex hoped it was her, but it was always a station update or a supply list. His heart ached, not from anger, but from missing. The sound of her laughter, the way she used to say, "You think too much," right before giving him a solution to a problem he couldn't solve. He sat back in his chair and looked at the star map above his bed. A red pin marked the lunar base where Mara now worked. He had placed it there when she first left back, when she promised to stay in touch, and she had. At first, but as the station got busier, the messages grew fewer. Alex tried not to blame. Her life in space was hard, but it didn't make the silence easier to carry. Alex walked to the rooftop of his apartment building and looked up. The clouds were parting slowly, revealing the moon. He whispered, "You're up there somewhere." He felt so far away from her, like they were no longer part of the same life. Still, he didn't want to give up. He wanted to do something that showed how much he still cared. Back downstairs, he remembered an old project he and Mara once joked about. What if we made a light in the sky? One that says, "I'm still thinking about you." It had just been a dream then, but maybe. Now, maybe it was time to try. Alex opened his tool chest. He had solar cells, wiring, an old drone, and several motion lights. He started building right away. His plan was simple. A flying message drone that would light up the sky with a pattern she'd remember. Ara once said that the shape of a human... Heart made her smile because it looked so illogical, yet meant everything. So Alex decided on that. A glowing heart that could float up each night and blink a message in Morse code, "Still here, still thinking of you." He programmed the drone with the simple message. Every blink was carefully timed to match the lunar rotation so that, just maybe, if she looked out at the right time, she'd see a small pattern against the dark Earth sky. It wouldn't be big, it wouldn't be loud, it would be real land. Full of the human spirit they both believed in. For 3 nights, he tested the drone. It rose above the apartment roofs and lit up the sky in soft red and white. He stood watching it, hands shielding his eyes. Somewhere out there, Mara might see the lights and know someone was reaching out. On the 4th night, Alex finally got a message. Just 5 words. "Did you make that light?" His breath caught. He blinked at the screen, then typed back, "Yes. 4. You, every night." Her reply came quickly. "I thought it was a glitch in the Earth signal. I stared for 10 minutes. Then I remembered our joke." Alex laughed, tears slipping down his cheeks. He sent one more message. "It's not a joke anymore. It's real, just like this. I miss you." A few minutes passed, then Mara's voice message came through, warm and soft. "Alex, thank you. I've been overwhelmed. I didn't mean to disappear, but that light. It reminded me that even far away, I'm not forgotten, and neither are you." The pain of missing her was still there, but it no longer felt so heavy. He had found a way to reach her not through perfect words or expensive tech, but through something simple, human, and full of heart. He had turned sadness into action, and action into hope. The next evening, Alex got a new message, a picture. From Mara, she stood at the station's window, holding up a sign. It read, "Keep shining. I'm looking up." That night, as his drone rose into the sky again, Alex stood on the rooftop, hand over his heart. He whispered, "We're still connected, no matter the distance." And somewhere on the moon, Mara smiled, up at a small light blinking just for her proof that the human spirit never gives up on love, no matter how far it must travel. The stars were bright that night as Alex stood on the rooftop, hands in his pockets, eyes fixed on the moon. For weeks now, he had sent lights into the sky, music through space, messages hidden in flowers and songs. And each time Mara had answered softly, kindly, like a whisper from another world. But even so, a small ache still lived in Alex's chest. He missed her presence, the little things, her way of tapping her fingers when she thought. The way her laugh made everything feel lighter. Messages helped, but they weren't the same as being near. Alex sat on the edge of the roof and took out the old notebook he had shared with Mara years ago. It was full of sketches, half-formed ideas, inventions that never got built. One page caught his eye. It was a drawing of a small escape pod shaped like a bird, labeled for when you miss someone too much. Next to it, Mara had written in her neat handwriting, "Let's not need it. Let's stay close." Alex smiled sadly. Life had changed. They had followed their dreams, just on different paths. As he stared at the sketch, another idea began to grow. Couldn't fly to the moon, but maybe he could bring a little more of Earth to Mara. Not just music, or light, or flowers, but stories. The ones they used to tell each other late at night, tales of courage, hope, and wonder. Stories about humans doing the impossible. He rushed inside, pulled out his tablet, and began to write. Not just any story, but their story. How to friends. Filled with dreams and heart, reached across space to stay connected. He wrote about the message tree, the glowing plant, the rooftop lights all, the ways they had stayed close despite the silence and the stars. He gave the story a title, Still here. Then he added illustrations, Mara looking out her station. Window Alex with his glowing drone, the violin concert under the sky. Once the story was done, he formatted it into a digital book, small enough to run on lunar systems, but with rich colors and soft animated pages. Then he recorded himself reading it aloud. His voice shook at first, but grew stronger with every page. He poured his heart into every word. When he finished, he attached the file to a private cumburst and labeled it, "For Mara from Earth." With heart. That night he didn't wait by the screen. He didn't count seconds. He simply went to the botanical garden, sat under the orchids, and watched the night roll over the glass dome. Around him, children chased light bugs, and elders played soft music near the benches. He felt at peace. Whatever happened next, he had said what he needed to say. The next morning, his holopad buzzed. Message from Mara. Alex opened it with shaking hands. There was no text, just a video. It began with Mara sitting in the rec room on the moon, surrounded by crewmates. A printed copy of the story lay on her lap. She looked at the camera and smiled. "Alex," she said gently, "I read your story to everyone last night. We all cried. We all felt. And not just about us, but about Earth and what it means to be human. You reminded us why we're here, why we explore, why we hope." The video shifted to short clip scientists laughing, engineers nodding, others wiping away tears. Then a shot of the story displayed on the station's central screen. Beneath it was a sign someone had placed. "Still here, still human." Mara's voice returned. "You didn't just send a message? You gave us something that feels like home. I want you to know we're making something too. A version of your story translated into every Earth language and will be. It back one chapter at a time. So no matter where someone is, they'll remember connection is possible. Distance doesn't win." Alex's throat tightened. He could barely breathe as the screen faded to black and the final words appeared. "Love always finds a way." Mara. Tears rolled down his cheeks. Not from sadness, but from pride. From joy. From the deep glowing truth that something as simple as words could reach across the stars and make people feel together again. That night, Alex stood under the rooftop sky once more. No lights, no gadgets, just stars and silence. But inside him, he knew he wasn't alone. Because in the great, wide galaxy, where so much felt cold and far, the human spirit still burned, still reached, still hoped, and always, always found a way.